Hello and good morning. Lovely to speak to you all. My name is Robert Porter, and I work on the Facebook team at Workplace. Thank you very much for joining me today. The purpose of today's call is really to show you who have been specially selected as early adopters and as champions to be able to use Workplace and help define how it's going to be launched. Really, the purpose of the call is to show you a little bit about Workplace, give you a bit of a tour and a demonstration about how the best way to use it would be, give you some ideas and some inspiration about the value that it can bring to you as individuals, and also for your roles, for your departments, and for your own personal career progression. So before I start, I wanted to say that there is a comments box. And so feel free to ask any questions that you have. And what I will do is I will take pauses throughout the webinar and answer any questions that I can. And if there's anything that I can't answer, I'll try and do that after the call. But please feel free to have this as an open dialogue. If there's anything that I'm not covering you'd like to focus on, then please do feel free to ask any questions. Equally, if the sound quality or the video starts to dip out, then let me know as well. I want to make sure that you will always be able to see my screen, and I'll be dipping in and out of different screens. So just give me a heads up if that happens, and I'll try and correct it this end. Okay, perfect. Well, let's begin. So first of all, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we're going to be discussing. So really, it's going to be split into three different chapters over the next 55 minutes. We're going to be looking at the goals and the workplace mission and how that's going to tie into your own goals as an organization. We're going to go on through to a workplace demo on one of our demo sites to show you what the tool looks like and how you can use it. Hopefully you all have access now to Workplace and you've claimed your accounts. You can download the app as well on the App Store. There are two free apps. It's a Workplace app and a Work Chat app. So throughout this call, if you have it open, have a play around, start to think about groups you can create groups, speak to people on chat, give me feedback on this if you think there are things that can be improved, and share your thoughts. And then I'm also going to be talking about your roles and your responsibilities. So as mentioned, your project team and your directors have specially chosen the people on this call to be early adopters before your launch next week. And so really what that means is you will represent different parts of your organization and all have the influence and the levels of responsibility and leadership to be able to deploy a Workplace so it has the best adoption and therefore having the most value for your organization. So firstly, company goals for Workplace. Now, there are a few goals here that I'm going to go through, but I really want to emphasize that the goals that you can achieve with Workplace are really down to your own imagination. So, of course, it's a collaboration and communication tool. It's not just a supplement for email or for intranet or for newsletters. It's actually a way that you can get your work done. And if you haven't actually tried it yet, then I'll show you in this demonstration what that can look like. Here at Facebook, we've been using Workplace for around 4 years, and we launched it as a product in beta stage about a year and a half ago, and then to the wider world about 6 months ago. And it has huge adoption and huge value to different organizations, and I'll go through that in a bit more detail later. So here we've looked at how we can increase agility in decision making, and really that's about speed and process, operational speed and process of getting things done. How it can build relationships across your entire organization. I know that you are dispersed over several geographies. There may be language and cultural barriers. So how can we start to build relations so you can get your work done better and get the culture of the entire group harmonized? And also streamlining communication. So trying to get rid of extra channels that aren't being used and have everyone on one place. Now, within Britam, you guys are using this also to promote your Go for Gold strategy. And so that's going to be one of the core components of how Workplace will be used. And through that Go for Gold, it entails a lot of things about how you're going to be reaching success as an organization over the next few years. So that'll be a principal component of Workplace for you guys in your launch. But there are also going to be a lot of other things that you can do to ensure success. So I'm now going to take you over a very quick history of the why we created Workplace and why Workplace could actually change the way you guys work at Britam. So the why here and what you're seeing is an evolution over the last 20 years or so of communication technologies, from text to photos to videos to virtual reality and augmented reality. And this is really to show that these technologies exist in our consumer life with different applications, Facebook being one of them, but then also Instagram and Snapchat and other social media platforms. And although we use this technology in our day to day as a consumer, we don't seem to use it in our working world. And so, what Workplace has done, it has taken this trend where people are desiring to communicate with each other in a more clear and concise way, in a consumer point of view, and brought it to the enterprise space, to the working world. And so, what Workplace has done is they've leveraged the platform, which is Facebook.com, and created a completely separate platform. And so the whole purpose of that is Workplace is trying to connect everyone in the working world. We approximate it's around 3 billion people in the workplace. And so how we're going about doing that is, as I say, leveraging Facebook.com. 1.8 billion people use Facebook.com on a regular basis every month. And so it's a very engaging, user-friendly interface. People know how to use it. So we want to take that benefit and we want to create something that looks and feels like Facebook, but it's completely separate. You don't need a Facebook account to have a Workplace account. In terms of data and security, it's all your own data. There's no linkage between social and work. It just looks the same, but it isn't related to Facebook at all. So that's really important for you guys to note, and really important for you guys to let your colleagues know when Workplace is launched next week. So the reason for this is that one of the biggest barriers of adopting an enterprise tool, any enterprise tool, is the ability to use it and the training. And so the idea is that we've made it so intuitive because it looks so similar to something that is familiar to a lot of people, Facebook.com, that actually it's quite intuitive and easy to use. And once you use it, it's also very engaging. People come back to it. And so if we get enough people using this tool, that's when true innovation and fulfillment of the goals that we spoke about can actually happen. If we get 5 or 10% of your organization using this, then we don't have enough people to really call it a collaboration tool. We want to get 80 to 90% of your entire organization using this very quickly. And that's really what your roles encompass. You're here to help the rollout of this tool, help the education and the communication of how to use it within your different teams in your different locations. And so what I'm going to be going through is in the demo is looking at these 5 components: newsfeed, groups, profile, chat, and search, and really talking you through what they look like and how to use them. As I say, it's also mobile first, so the mobile app is there, it's free. You can download the app if you have a smartphone, an Apple or an iPhone or an Android phone. If you have a Windows phone, you can use it on the browser and have it as a shortcut on one of your tiles. So download the app and you'll see the experience is truly mobile, enabling you to connect with your work colleagues in a much more fluid way. So now I'm going to take us out of this presentation and I'm going to go onto our demonstration site. So I'm on the demonstration site now. I'm just going to share my other screen, and now I'm going to again ask if you can now see the screen which has future work on the left hand side. So if anyone could just write in a quick yes that they can see the screen with future work, then I'll carry on. I just want to make sure that you're with me through all the screens that I'm sharing, because there are quite a few. Okay, great, that seems like it's sharing okay, thank you. So this is the demo site. Of course, your own platform will have Britam here on the left-hand side where it says future work. So what I'm going to show you is really the 5 key components of Workplace, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on groups because that's really the main purpose of how you get your work done. And the idea is to show you how you, as an insurance company, can actually gain value from this. You know, what is this tool? Like, how will you get your day-to-day work done? And so I'm going to try and bring to life some examples of how other companies have been using this. So first of all, this is the news feed. This is the home page, if you like. So when you click this home button here, you go to the news feed. Now, the news feed works similar to Facebook.com, but obviously from a working perspective. So what that means is it basically surfaces everything that's important to you. And it does that by using the algorithms in the background. So the more you use this for stuff that's of interest to you from a working perspective, the more things that the newsfeed will bring in front of you that are important for you to see as an individual. So, for example, I follow the Workplace VIP group quite actively. And so this post, which sits in the group, is now brought to me in my newsfeed as something I'd like to see. I'm also part of this group, Policies and Procedures, and there's a post here that Andrew has posted, and it's now surfaced to me in the newsfeed because the algorithm knows that this is important to me. You can see on the right-hand side, it will also surface suggested groups that I should actually join, and it will also show me people that I should potentially follow because the algorithm is saying, Rob, you work in this position, and therefore this is other stuff that will be interesting to you. It's a self-learning tool, and it gets smarter every time you use it. So really what that means for the newsfeed is that the newsfeed is your one-stop shop. It's your ability to see what's happening in your organization that's relevant to you as an individual within the click of a button. So I check this, for example, on my way to work, and it allows me to understand exactly what I need to do and plan my day, see what is happening at Facebook from an HQ point of view, what Mark Zuckerberg, our CEO, is thinking about. It gives me everything I need to know that's relevant to me. So that is the news feed effectively. Now I'm going to go onto this top left-hand search bar, and I'm going to show you what a profile looks like. So I'm going to type in someone's name. I'm going to go to Rebecca Tristan, who is a colleague of mine, and I want to use this example to show you what a profile looks like. Now, a lot of times in an organization, people are disconnected because they don't know who does what in a company. So how can you collaborate? How can you ask for help? How can you work on problems or get visibility on different things if you don't know who everyone is and what they do? So Workplace addresses this challenge by having profiles for everyone. So this is Rebecca's profile. You see it has a picture of her. You have click the About tab. You can see her name, her email, her location, her position, her department. Now, what's also interesting is you can see who she follows, and who are following Rebecca. And so this gives you an idea of who Rebecca is interacting with the most. So in my organization, for example, in Workplace, I interact internally the most with the sales team, with my colleagues in the customer success team, and also with people in engineering to give them feedback. So those are the people I follow. So that's my immediate sphere of work, and people can see that on my profile. You can also see groups and the groups that someone is a part of. So here we can see Rebecca is a part of the HR help desk group, the customer feedback group, the workplace deployments group, etc. And so what this means is the groups are effectively the projects that Rebecca is a part of, or the areas of interest that she wants to be kept informed about. And so by looking at this, we can see exactly what her workflow is like, which is super helpful. Imagine you're new to an organization and you don't know what to do and you're going through your onboarding, which typically takes 3 to 6 months. At Facebook, how we actually onboard people is we tell them to go to their manager's profile and join the groups their managers are part of and follow the people that their manager is following. So they're immediately brought up to speed with exactly the kind of projects that are going on that they need to be engaging with and to learn from. So it's a really powerful tool, and effectively it brings to life your entire organization as a directory. Suddenly everyone knows who everyone is, and then they can start to communicate with each other. And that's what I want to show you next. I want to show you how you can actually have a conversation with other people in your organization. So I'm on the profile of Rebecca, so I can simply click this message tab, and I will get a message tab to speak to Rebecca. And we can see our previous conversations here. So I can go that way, or I can go up here to the messaging tab, and I can look at all my previous messages from different people on this demo account, or I can go to a new message here. So you can have multiple tabs, as you can see, and have different conversations. Now, this is super exciting because suddenly you're not only able to see everyone in your organization, but you're able to identify what they do and be able to speak to them and interact with them in many different ways that are hopefully very intuitive because, as you can see, it's very similar to Messenger on Facebook.com. And the similarities don't end there. There's actually a lot of functionality that is very similar as well. So here you can have a text chat, as you can see from the text chat above. You can actually attach different documents from your desktop. You can attach photos or print screens. You can do stickers. You can have GIFs that you can attach, or different emojis that you can attach. And so this allows you to communicate in a more anecdotal or a less formal way, as well as everything you need to do from an enterprise space, such as attachments or sharing print screens of different documents. You can also have a video call, and you can do that by pressing this button. You'll be able to dial in and have a video call with Andrew. Or you can have multiple video calls, where you can actually have many people on a different chat. And I'd show that by doing this. You can click this button here. You can add, let's say, Rebecca, and then a different chat box appears where you can have a multiple chat box with more than one person. So, example, at Facebook, we have team chats. We're organizing, our next team meetings, or even our next team socials, or we just have it as a support group to be able to share what our challenges are and how we're overcoming them. So that is an idea for how we have a group chat. You can also have video calls. So you can now use this to actually visually have a video call. So the functionality within the chat function alone is huge. It enables you to really exploit the ability to have everyone connected. Now, of course, you can probably see that this is only really effective if we have everyone using the platform, which again is why we need your support and your help to take this message to go to the next level of collaboration. So at the outset, that's a bit of an introduction into the chat functionality. So now I really want to talk to you about, we've gone through newsfeed, we've gone through profiles, and we've gone through chat. Now I want to talk to you about groups, and groups are really the heartbeat of Workplace. You've heard me allude to what groups are all about. I've showed you a bit about, how Rebecca was in a few groups. So now I want to show you what groups can do, and I also want to show you how to create groups, because one of the key takeaways for you guys on the call is to be able to understand how to create groups and think about what groups you would like to create for your teams, and then actually create them. So after this call, what we're hoping to see is everyone on this call creating 3 to 5 different groups that they think are going to help their immediate teams. So I'm going to take some time now and show you what groups are, and then also how to create them. So first I'll show you what they are. On the left-hand side here, we can see the different categories of groups. So we have my favorites, we have teams and projects, announcements, open discussion, social, and multi-company groups. Okay, so I'm going to go through what these mean. So the favorites allows you to effectively put certain groups up to the top. So if I'm really engaged in the EMEA CSM group, or the sales and CSM cross-functional group, I can simply click on this little circle and I can add it to favorites, and it will come to the top. So it allows you to manage which groups are most important to you. The teams and projects are the groups that you guys are going to create the most. This is where you're in your actual teams and you're looking to collaborate with your different colleagues. So, for example, if I work for Britam and I'm working in the insurance world, and I'm working as an underwriter, and I want to actually speak to people that are analysts, and I want to have a group where I'm working with some analysts on what I think is the best way to value an insurance proposition from a risk perspective, I would create a teams and projects group, and I would then add people that I want to speak to in that group, and I would say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, maybe share a document or write a post, and I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll be able to tag other people in, and you'll be able to get your work done. So that's a team and projects group. Now, announcement groups are what your project team are going to be working on, and I think have already started doing. So your project team are going to be building groups that are going to be for either your entire organization or for different countries or different departments. So for an announcements group, you can see here some examples. We've got like the London FYI group. So this is whereby you would have a particular topic for a particular large group of people. And so maybe your leadership team want to communicate to you more by sharing with you what they're thinking. So maybe your CEO wants to say, hey guys, we're thinking about expanding into this new country. This is my thoughts. I want to share this as part of the Go for Gold strategy. That will be in an announcements group because it's announcing it to everyone. Perhaps you have different groups for different countries. I think you operate in about 7 different countries. So maybe each country has their own culture, their own initiatives, whether it be charitable initiatives or communication initiatives or events or marketing, whatever it might be, even HR. Maybe you'll have announcement groups for that. Then we have open discussion groups. Now, these are more for your project team to create as well. These are more centralized groups. So open discussion is going to be when you're eliciting feedback. So at the moment, we're on a call with a certain amount of champions, you guys who are early adopters. One thing that hopefully should happen, if it hasn't happened already, is that there should be a group which all of you should be a part of, which is the champions group. And it's where you can start to share different ideas. So after this call, what would be a great result is for you to join that group or even set that group up and then be able to talk to people about, hey, I didn't really understand what Rob meant about this particular thing. Oh, okay, well, here's what I thought it was. Here's my answer. Or, hey, guys, I'm thinking about setting up these groups. Would they be helpful? And you can actually start to have a discussion around that. Then you have social groups. So if you have, for example, football or running clubs or foodies, you can create social groups. And then you have ability here at the bottom, multi-company groups, which is how you can speak to people in other companies. Only if they have workplace, you can actually have siloed projects with people from other companies in a multi-company group. So those are the different types of groups. Now I'm going to show you a bit about what groups look like, how to use the functionality, and then I'm going to show you how to create them. So I'm going to go into a Teams and project group. I'm going to go into sales and CSM cross-functional. So this is a group that I use in my real workplace account. This is obviously a demo account. And so this is what the group looks like. You have the ability to put a personalized picture at the top of what you think the group could be about. You have the title of the group here. And then you have your ability to post here or add photos, add activity, format a post, tag workers, add a location, etc. You can also add files from your desktop, or you can use this tab more, which I'm going to go on to in a little bit. So this is a way that you actually communicate to everyone in the group. So if I've got a group here which is sales and CSM, customer success management, that means that I'm part of that group because I want to work with the sales team and give them ideas as well and start to collaborate with them. And so everyone is on this group that I need to speak with. So I can then put my questions, my thoughts, my concerns, I can upload presentations, and people can start to comment on them and share ideas, and then we can solve problems together, where previously maybe we would have been disconnected or we would have worked through email, so there would have been huge emailing listings and chains and threads, and we wouldn't be able to collaborate on problems in the same way. So this is where you'd be able to write a post. You can also tag people. So if I go at and then Rebecca, I can tag Rebecca to a certain job. So can you look at this presentation? And then I can write this as a post, and then I can actually attach a presentation and Rebecca will be notified. So you can tag multiple people. You can format posts if you want to then do bullet points, for example. You click on the formatting and then you can go bullet point 1 and then agenda, and then you can see it writes here as a point, bullet point 2, next steps. And then you can start to tag people, and this could be for Andrew, for example, and suddenly, before you know it, you're writing a message in a really quick and easy to use format. You can then attach your documentation, and you can post that, and these people will be notified. So this is how to actually write a post, very simplistic, and hopefully some of you have used Facebook.com before. It's not too unfamiliar. Now I want to show you some of the really cool stuff. Now, this isn't just the ability to write posts. There are ways that we can enrich how we communicate with each other. Think back to that slide I showed you, which is the evolution of communication, how people use text to video, to picture to video, to virtual reality in the near future. And what that tells us, what that teaches us, is that the richer the medium, the more engaging it is. So if you have a particular challenge, writing a post is great, but what if you could share a video? What if you could actually go live in where you're at and actually talk to the group about something that you're currently facing, and by actually going live and immersing them in your experience? These are different mediums. We have different functions which allow us to collaborate and communicate better. And you'll be happy to hear we have this functionality in Workplace. So here we can do things like create a poll, create a document, create an event, and also go live. So these are, and we also can do a photo album as well. So I'm going to talk to you about these, and then I'm going to show you what they look like. So creating a poll. Imagine you've got 50 people in a group, or even 1,000 people in a group. Maybe it's a company-wide group and you have all 2,000 people at Britam in that group. How can you get a sense of what everyone is thinking and feeling? I'm not sure about you, but we have our employee voice surveys every quarter. And so that's when we give our feedback on how we think the business is doing. We also have Mark Zuckerberg doing a live Q&A every single week. So what we do is we use polls to be able to allow anyone to ask any question they want to ask in a group, and then people can vote on what question they want to hear about. And then on the Friday, Mark Zuckerberg will then look at those questions and answer them, and he'll answer them by going live in that group. So suddenly our CEO has allowed us to give feedback. He's read that feedback and he's answered us in real time in a live group without kind of prompting and very spontaneously, which is phenomenal because it means that there's no barrier, there's no divide between Mark Zuckerberg, our CEO, and the 17,000 employees at Facebook. It's a phenomenal way for leadership to be able to showcase, leadership and cultural values. So for all the leaders on the call, it's a really powerful tool to use to be able to announce things. But similarly, polls is a really powerful tool to just book a meeting. We have 13 people in our extended team, and we needed to book a meeting. And that's 13 people's very difficult diaries. So what we did is we created a poll where we had 4 different dates and times, and people voted on when they could do it. And so that enabled everyone to harmonize their diaries very easily. So it can be used for big things and little things. Now, the live is already what I mentioned. It's where you can go through your phone or through any medium to actually transmit where you are and what you're doing live to an audience. So, for example, if I'm at a conference and I want to go live, I can actually go live at that conference and be filming what the conference is saying and transmitting that into a workplace group. If I'm seeing something particularly exciting that I don't have time to take notes down for, I can literally transmit that into a group if there's something of value to be had. It has numerous uses and use cases, very powerful for leadership and the most engaging tool. What I would strongly recommend is on your launch day, which is next week on the 17th, you actually, the leaders of the champions start to go live in groups that they've created. Try it out beforehand. You can delete any posts that you create and just have a little go and just see how it works and get comfortable with the tool. Then we talked about documents as well. So documents are the ability to be able to create a document which can be acting as a newsletter. This is a favorite tool of communications and marketing teams. How often have we had it where we have sent out communications in mailing lists and they've been lost and we don't know if people have read them? What I'll show you is how notes or documents allow you to do a nice formatting post and people can comment on it, they can interact with it. And also you can see who has seen it and you can see if it's actually had any traction. So you get a feedback loop. It's incredibly powerful. So these are some of the functionalities and I'm going to show you what they look like in a moment through the different groups. But hopefully that gives you an idea of what can be done. So for example, when I scroll down, I can see that Matthew Ring has edited a document on the 24th of April. This isn't what a document looks like. It renders the first part. And then if you open this up, we can see exactly the hyperlinks here that will take you to external websites. You can see all the different pictures. And at the bottom, you can see the likes and you can see the comments. So I'm going to like this as well. So it immediately allows me to see different things. So if I scroll back down, I can see another example of how Andrew has done posted a 360 video. And so this is pretty cool. You can see, what Andrew is talking about when he says workplace roadshow in Japan, opening video sequence. And so he's asking people for advice on what they think. So immediate way of collaborating. And then people can comment here at the bottom. Matthew has tagged Rebecca saying you need to see this. Rebecca said this is excellent. Thanks for sharing. I definitely think we should do a similar approach. We'll message the agency ASAP. This is how you actually get your work done. You can see 7 people have seen it. And you can see 8 people have not seen it, okay? So as you go through the feed of a group, you can see the different elements of collaboration. Joanna has actually written here a post and she's tagged different colleagues on their areas from a sales team perspective and included a map of who is responsible for what. So Stefan is for NGOs, Jorge is for Southern Europe and Africa, Amy is for the DAC region, and Joanna is for the Nordics. So you can see it's a way to collaborate, to share different things. We can see here Rebecca has uploaded a picture of actually how companies can self-launch Workplace with a different plan. And she shared it on this because she's sharing this with the sales team to share with their customers that might need it. You can like, or you can actually love, or do these different emojis, and you can also comment on the post by doing it here. And the comment button here is here. You can insert emojis there. You can also attach photos or videos, and you can also post stickers. Again, another example of a presentation that's been uploaded. We can look at what Danny has put here, and we can actually scroll through each slide on this presentation and comment on each slide if required. So this is an idea about how we at Workplace use this to collaborate. Now the exercise is really for you to all think about how you and your teams would start to use Workplace. What's the value proposition for you? How will you collaborate with your teams? Now, the way I would think about this is to basically have empathy and think, what are the different projects that I'm a part of, and who are the people that I would like to work with and communicate with? Think of the geographical barriers. Think of the people that will do your job but in different countries, and think about, wouldn't it be great if you could collaborate? Maybe you have a particular challenge with a customer, or maybe you have a challenge from an analytical point of view. Maybe there are different industry trends within insurance that you'd like to share that you think could impact other people. Maybe you think there's an exciting new proposition and you want to share it with the leadership team for an acquisition. Anything that this might be, you now have the ability to reach everyone in your organization and collaborate with them in a really meaningful way. And so that's what this tool is all about. So now I'm going to show you a few more examples of groups. I'm going to stay on this group for a moment because I want to show you a bit more of the mechanics behind it. So you can see here on the right hand side who is in the group. I can click on the 16 members and I will be able to go on to who is actually in this group. And I can click onto their profiles now from here, or I can also see who are the administrators of the group. Okay, and the administrators have rights to add people and have admin rights to the entire group. Now, if I want to add someone to the group, I can simply click the add button, and you'll be able to find your co-workers here, or you'll be able to invite people here, and you can just simply add to the group. If you would like to start a group and add a lot of people in bulk, then you can actually import a load of people. So this is where actually you download this template file. It's simply an Excel spreadsheet, and you just copy and paste email addresses, and then you upload that file, and all those people get invited to a group. So if you have groups that are larger, if there are leaders on here that want to have groups of 50 people or more, then you don't want to be manually putting in 50 people's, clicking on 50 people's names. So you can just do a group import. So that's really the mechanics behind how to actually get people into the groups and the right people into the groups. Also, another thing to note is notifications. You can edit your notifications, and notifications are how much you're notified about what the activity of the group is. So you want to be the groups that you're really working on, that your current projects, you want to have all the notifications. If there are groups that you just want to have the highlights of, you can have this option here, or you can turn notifications off, which means that it's a group that maybe you want to proactively dip into and have a look, but you don't maybe want to be notified all the time. You can go on to these different tabs here. You can look at the files that have been uploaded into this group. You can see if there's been any events that have been created. There's a load of test events. And you can also see any photos that have been uploaded here. So hopefully this is bringing to life some of the ideas about how you can use it. I'm just going to go on and show you a few more functionalities. So here we've got a different group. This is a Workplace Southern Europe group. We can see the same format, the same structure. You've got your members on the right. You've got your ability to post. You can see here that there's a document that Jorge has created. It renders nicely. We can see if we open up, it's called Crucial Conversations, and it has ideas that he wanted to share with the team in this group. Now we can go back down this group and we can see different posts. And what I wanted to show you is actually Jorge writing a hello team from Spain. We can use this group to be aware of news related to Workplace. Now we can actually see the original, and the original is actually in Spanish because Jorge is Spanish and the group is Southern Europe. So what you do here is you actually have auto translate. where people from different languages can see the content and different groups in their own language. We can see the Spanish translation to English. This is hugely powerful because if we're looking to build a software that connects people, we have to get rid of as many barriers as possible. And that means geography, that means hierarchy, and that also means language. And so this is a tool that enables you to do this. You can actually auto-translate. So that's what I wanted to show you in particular on this group, is at the auto-translate function. I now want to show you an open discussions group, which is, let's say, IT help desk. So this is, again, the same format, a different group, and we can see here that Andrew Garney has actually pinned a post. So Andrew has pinned a post, and this is because, firstly, what pinning a post does is it brings a post to the top of that group. So every time anyone goes in this group, they're going to see this post. And it's important to be able to know how to do this because in some groups, such as IT Help Desk, there are some things that you want everyone to see. So this is, please use this group for all IT-related queries. Posts will be moderated to ensure all content is relevant. And then here what Andrew's done is he's hyperlinked all these different things, which are external links, which will take you to the right place. So IT Help Desk, HR Help Desk, communications, maybe you have like a hiring or referral platform. Maybe there are compensation and benefits. Maybe there are other groups you want to create which have different hyperlinks that are important for everyone to see at the outset. This is how you would actually structure that. And so how do we actually pin a post? Well, let me go to a group that doesn't have a pinned post and I'll show you. So what you can do, you see this little bottom triangle here on every post. You click on that, you pin the post. You can obviously only pin one post to a group, but this menu shows you how to save a video, delete a post, start a group chat, and pin a post. So something that's important for you guys to know. If I go back to the IT help desk, we can see then the other different conversations that have happened below. So now I'm going to show you an example of a truly collaborative group. And this is a real group that exists on Workplace, and I've joined this demo account onto it. It's called the Workplace VIP group. Now this is a group whereby is a multi-company group, so we have many companies on here that all have access to Workplace. You can see a few of them here on the right-hand side: Wesbank, Facebook, Delivery Hero, Chairved. These are all global companies. And we can see here true life collaboration at its best and what it looks like. So here we have different things. So one of our directors, Julian, has posted that we now have the ability to create bots on Workplace, and he's done 2 videos demonstrating what bots can do. You can see 30 comments, you can see 120 different reactions to this, and you can see people working together. This group is primarily for VIPs that are looking to deploy Workplace or have Workplace up and running, and they share with each other best practice. So we have 1 or 2 people from all the companies, maybe 300 companies that are working together on this group. And we can see that we are posting stuff, whether it's new product announcements or customers are posting stuff as well. So I'm going to show you something pretty cool which shows you how to use search within the group. So I'm going to go and work and focus on typing in T-Mobile. Now T-Mobile is a huge telecoms company, and I launched their organization to Workplace not too long ago. And so if I type in T-Mobile, I have everything that relates to mobile. So you have T-Mobile here, and what I'm looking for is a particular post that a guy called Michael put up, and I want to show you what he did. So Ivo wrote this post a while ago, and this is before they launched, and this is actually what they did to prepare their launch. So I can then go and download this, and actually I don't think you'll be able to see that, so I'm going to preview it, and you'll be able to see what Ivo posted, which was actually an entire 57-page booklet on how to launch Workplace. This is what T-Mobile did before launching. So they've looked at their content, they looked at their groups, their communication strategy, and they've even gone into their launch as well. And so this is a huge documentation. And I thought it was so great. I asked Ivo to post it on the VIP group because I thought it would have a lot of value for other people to look at it. So again, a very powerful way to how to actually collaborate with different people. And this is a true collaboration in a multi-company group. So that's some of the functionalities on groups. And now I want to show you a bit about how to create a group, because we've talked about what groups look like, what they can do. Now you guys need to know actually how to create them, because remember, you need to create at least 3 to 5 groups between now and the 17th of May that are going to be groups that will help you and your teams collaborate. So it's very simple to create groups. I'm just going to go back to the home page here. Very, very simple to create groups. See this button on the left-hand side? You just click on it, create a group. And then you have your option to create all these different types of groups that I've gone through. Teams and projects is most likely the group that you guys are going to want to create, so you click on that. Now you have the ability to name the group. So you can name this group with what you think the group should be, the content of the group should be. So if you have, if it's for your office in Kenya and it's for your sales team, you could write Britam and then dash Kenya, and then you could do dash sales, and then you could do dash forecasting. Or you could actually even just take out the Britam and just have Kenya sales forecasting, and that'd be the name of your group. And it's just important to, when you name a group, to make it as clear and concise as possible, because actually before creating a group, you should search for the group, and you search for the group on the top left hand side here. So you think, hey, I work in the sales team, and it'd be really helpful for me to have a forecasting group with my team. Just type in sales forecasting on the top left hand side. If nothing comes up, create the group yourself and start to add people to it. There's no storage limit. You can create as many groups as you want. The more groups, the better. When groups finish their purpose, then they just simply fade into the background. The data is still there, and you can still dip into it, but it's not taking up anyone's space. It kind of melts away into the background. So the more groups, the better. If there are duplicate groups, then your company admins can delete the duplicate groups. But typically, if everyone searches before creating a group, there's no problem. So you type your name in, simple as that, and then you click on this button, Customize. You choose Open, Closed, or Secret. Open group is where everyone can see what's in the group and everyone can join that group. So think of company-wide or country-wide groups should always be open. If it's a closed group, that's really for your projects. So if I'm sales and I don't think that someone from a different location as an analyst should join this group because there's no value in them joining this group, I'm going to have it as a closed group, which means people can ask to join it, but you get to choose who's in it and who's not. So a closed group means people can search for that group, but they can't see the content unless they're invited. Most of the groups that you all create will be closed groups. And then secret groups are effectively private groups where you can have conversations in private. Maybe when there's particularly sensitive topics, you can have that in private. It's worth noting that all of your company administrators have access or can have access to any group. This is obviously a company enterprise software tool, and so it's self-policed. People don't have secret groups and write inappropriate content or put inappropriate photos or videos there because it's a work tool. If you do, you'll be penalized exactly the same way you would if you wrote an inappropriate email to someone. So it's self-policed in that sense, and the company administrators have the ability to look at the entire group structure. So this is what you do. You click on this, and then you literally press next, and that will bring you to creating the group. I'm not going to create a group now, but that's literally all you have to do. So you can imagine how simple this exercise is. When I say create 3 to 5 groups, all that is really doing is creating 3 to 5 titles. They're going to be teams and projects, and they're going to be closed for the majority of everyone on the call. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So most people create, if there are managers on the call, they create groups which are one-to-one groups, where they have a group with one other person. Maybe they're a direct report, and they put on their meetings, their agendas, their feedback, their notes on that group. So it's that simple to create a group. So really like a 5-minute exercise to create 5 groups, and something that you really it'll be really beneficial if all of you can do before the launch, and ideally today. So once you've created a group, the 2 things you need to do then are add people to that group, and I've shown you how to do that, and then also you need to start to put content on that group. Imagine going into a group, being invited to a group, and you get there. You see the title, you think, okay, cool. I need to be in this group. This sounds like it's relevant to me. And you get there, and there's nothing in there. There's no content. There's not a poll. There's not a video. There's no hyperlinks. There's no information on what one should be doing. So if you create a sales group, add some people to it, and then be like, hey guys, tag them. Be like, what do you think of this? if you have a group which is if, for all the champions, or for a group that is challenges with workplace, and just be like, hey guys, I tried to do this and I couldn't do it. What do you think? Can you help me? Like, start to collaborate with each other. Any challenge you have that's work related, create a group and start to work with each other. That's the whole idea of this. You can delete groups if you want to. You can delete conversations but practice and have a go and get some experience. So that's the tool in a nutshell. I've showed you search in the groups. You also have this search bar here. We can search for people, or you can search for documents as well. It's a very powerful search engine. And so we've gone through now all the different areas of workplace. We've gone through the newsfeed, the profiles, the chat, the groups, and I've shown you very quickly search here. So that's how to use it. I'm conscious of time. We have 12 minutes left, so I'm going to take you out of the demo, and I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint presentation. So I'm just going to go and click PowerPoint here. And now I'm just going to ask very quickly, if I can, if you can just confirm if you can see my screen. So if we can just have a quick look and see, just write a yes, you can see my screen. That'd be great. So I'm just looking at a couple of questions as well. I probably don't have time to show the polls again. I'm sorry. What I'll try and do is I'll share a short tutorial video. I think we have one with your project team on how to create polls. Or just give it a go yourselves. Just create one and start to put questions in. It's very intuitive. Just click on that more button, and you'll be able to create them. Oh, it seems like actually people have already managed to figure it out, so that's great to hear. So I'm now going to just use the next 10 minutes to talk about other bits and pieces. So as I've talked about throughout this call, if you haven't got access already, get access to Workplace and get the mobile apps. They're incredibly powerful, incredibly easy to use. And think of the 5 benefits of Workplace for you and your team. That's an exercise in empathy when you're like, okay, my day-to-day, like after this call, what is it that you have to do? What are your projects? Are you meeting internal people? Do you have internal meetings? Do you have emails to write? What's your follow-up? Do you need to understand more about what your company's doing? These are all ideas for groups. So think about how you can migrate that workflow onto Workplace. So your role pre-launch, we can define it into 5 different things. The first thing, add your profile picture, humanize the platform, download the apps. That's a very basic first call to action. The second thing, create your team and project groups. So those 5 things you're thinking of that will be able to help the team, create those groups and then start to put content on them. So just put a bit of content. That could be like a quick text like, "Hey guys, going to use this group to collaborate on this. What are your thoughts on this particular challenge?" And then tag them. And you tag them by pressing the @ button, as you would with an email address, and then start writing their name when they're tagged. Prepare initial engagement activities and use cases. So think about the value that this can bring to you. We have incredible stories about what Workplace has done. I'm always humbled by a charity of 10,000 people, so 5 times bigger than your organization. And this charity is called Leonard Cheshire, and they launched Workplace. The charity, what they do is they look after people with disabilities all across Europe. And so the people that work there are carers. They look after people with disabled challenges. And so these people, they don't have desks, they don't have email addresses, they have their own personal smartphones. So what happened is we launched Workplace and everyone starts using it. And there's one person who is a carer and he works really remotely. And suddenly he's connected to his organization and he's never been connected to it before. He has no email. They have posters in their care rooms. They get changed once a month, which give them the updates on corporate policy. Like, it's really disconnected. And this individual gets Workplace and downloads the apps. What he's noticed is that in his care home, there's loads of extra equipment. There's loads of extra beds. There's extra bedpans, and there's all these extra equipment that he sees that could really help people, but they don't require it. They don't have enough patience. So what he does is he takes photos of all this equipment and he opens up a group and he starts to add people from different care homes across the country and across Europe. And he calls the group Free Cycle Group Leonard Cheshire. Simple as that. And says, guys, here are some photos of all the equipment we have. Does any of you need it? And then other people start to take photos of extra equipment that they have. And then other people start to say, hey, we don't have enough beds. We're turning people with disabilities away because we don't have enough beds. You have some beds. And suddenly what's happened is someone has surfaced their observation and shared it with the right people, and real change is happening in this organization. And there's actually like huge cost savings, and the CEO and the CFO are amazingly proud of their employees and staff for having this innovation. But what this tool does in a very simple way is surface observations on the ground with the right people in a really quick and easy way. And if you get, 2,000 people or 10,000 people doing that regularly in an easy to use way, think of what your organization can achieve when you mobilize everyone to be a collective as opposed to a bunch of individuals. So that's what I mean by prepare initial engagement and activities and use cases, and then identify team workflows and move them onto Workplace. So that's when you think of, hey, we have our weekly meeting. Well, let's have the weekly meeting on Workplace, and let's actually go live if people work remotely. Or hey, like we can't get feedback. Let's actually create a poll and ask questions to people to get that feedback. Like, think about these things and you move them onto Workplace. And that's your role pre-launch. Now, post-launch, so after next week, you guys still have a vital role to play in the success of Workplace. So that is really to continue to inspire your teams. You guys have got access early. Your organization have specially chosen you to because of your positions in leadership and influence. Share valuable work-related content. Keep it relevant. Continue to tag colleagues. Invite them to groups. Like their comments. Put your emojis on there to express how you're feeling. Encourage content creation and move your traditional communications to Workplace. Because if we do that, we're going to get more people on there. And the success of this is really based on getting enough people using it. So we need to get as many people on Workplace as possible, and we need to encourage that behavior. And all that I'm showing you now are tricks to encourage that behavior. Once everyone's on Workplace, it will take on an organic role, and it will be self-sufficient and self-sustaining. We just need to get that right for the launch period, which is why your role is so vital. Now, I've got a few minutes and I'm going to whistle through this. It's not particularly complicated, just on group configuration. So firstly, I've gone through that groups can be open, closed, or secret, so I'm not going to go over that again. We can then also look at permissions, and permissions is who can post in a group. So 99% of the time, all your groups are going to be anyone can post in this group, because the point of this is to have a collaboration tool, and so you want everyone to be able to post and comment. There are some instances where you might want to have the admin approval. This is where the admin of the group approves a post before it gets put on there. So when people are writing a lot of comments that are the same comments, maybe you just approve one so there's not repetition. Then you can have it where it's only admins can actually post in a group. This is where it's a group that is purely about pushing out information. So maybe like a communications group where you're just pushing out notifications is where only the admins comment, because you don't want to invite collaboration. But 99% of the time, you're going to have anyone post. Now, membership, how to invite people. I've talked you through this already. Individually inviting or adding group reports, add reports, that Excel spreadsheet upload. That's how you on the call will be inviting people. The other three options are more complex things that your project team are working on to have everyone in the organization added. Now, the next thing are basically, I'm not going to go through these, they're just examples about group structure and how other people have created groups. And we don't have time, and I think I've gone through enough examples on the demo to show you this. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to skip to the bottom of this deck and the last slide, which is, well, the second last slide is really your role as a summary. So complete your profile and download the app. That's step one. It takes 2 minutes. Create your groups and bring your teams on board. That's the real next step for you after this call. Encouragement of activity, and the final thing is the identification of those workflows, because that's really when you start to change process and you put it onto Workplace. So the last thing is, as I've echoed throughout this entire thing, is create 5 meaningful groups for your team and organization. So after this call, just take a few minutes, and if you haven't already, start to create groups. this is really going to ensure the success. Your project team can't create all the groups for you because you guys know more about your workflow than your project team does. So it's really up to you to be able to be like, hey, I want to actually do this in a group instead. You'll find that as soon as you start to use it, it's so intuitive, it's so friendly to use, and it will change the pace at which you can operate. It will allow you to surface observations and ideas with new people, promoting your own career trajectories, and you'll be able to get your work done in a so much easier way. And it's fun. It's easy to use. Like it's something that we at Facebook have had as part of our culture, and part of the reason we've shared it is to kind of share part of our culture to different companies. So that's all I wanted to go through with you today. I hope that's been helpful. I want to thank you all for your time this morning, or maybe it's this afternoon for you now. If you have any questions, please speak to your project team. If there are no groups created that you like, create those groups or speak to your project team to get those groups created if they're bigger groups for the entire organization. There should be a champions group already. If not, let's get that set up where you on the call can share your experiences, share your thoughts and ideas. You guys are the early adopters, you're the ambassadors of this product, and you actually get to dictate what this will look like and how it will change your company. So with that, I will say goodbye. Thank you so much for your time and very excited to look at your launch next week. Thank you.